Hello, today is July 16th, and I'd like to talk about harmony today. Harmony is a concept that I came across actually a number of years ago when I was doing martial arts. So I did a martial art called Aikido. It's a Japanese martial arts that's based on sword movements. That's really about harmony. The Aiki is harmony, and Do is the way. So it's like the way of harmony. And this idea in the Aikido is that um, basically like to move through and manage other people that are coming to physically aggress on you or whatnot is about harmony, which means there's no fighting involved. Um, no fighting in the sense that when someone pushes, you don't push back, right? Usually, what happens is you get into an altercation or a disagreement or something, and it's very much about fighting against or taking over or winning over another person. So, when one person pushes, the other person pushes back, and you get fighting. Or if one person pulls, then the other person pulls back, and then again, you get fighting. So in Aikido, the idea of harmony is to move along with the movements that people are putting forth to you, right? So if somebody's pushing, then you move back and you take over their energy, or you kind of redirect their energy in one way. Or if they're pulling, then you move with them and you, again, guide their energy in that way. So, from a physical sense, it's really interesting to think about because it's very counterintuitive. Oftentimes, it's about like holding your ground and standing, like building up strength and being stronger and overpowering another person. Whereas in Aikido, with harmony, it's more about flowing and moving. I think that's a wonderful metaphor, especially for a lot of other things. Um, One thing that I've come back to over and over again over the last number of years is the idea of the principle of correspondence, which is as above, so below, as within, so without. And what that also says to me is that there are parallels on not only just different levels and different planes of existence, but just in different subjects and different subject matter and topics and things like that. When you get up high enough to a certain level of understanding within your craft, whatever that may be, whether it's business, whether it's healthcare, whether it's martial arts, whether it's something physical, you may find that a lot of the same principles from one translate into another. So, for example, the idea of harmony and the idea of going with the flow is one that's really prevalent in metaphysics and spirituality, possibly in some religions as well. Um, and then it's also just like mentally, it's kind of like that. It's a difficult kind of frame if it's not one that you start with because of the way that we are socialized and the way that cultures contextualize our experience. But you can learn this. So just like in Aikido, where the training is to learn to harmonize your energy with another person, to learn to guide it, to go with them and flow in a way of guiding their energy into different directions. That similarly happens when you have even conversations with other people. So, with interpersonal interactions, right? Like one of the things that I talk about and that I teach about a lot is leadership. And the idea of leadership is rather than, so I guess there's two ways of thinking about leadership. You could think about that pure leader who's like pulling you along and kind of um, asserting their will over whatever it is, like the organization, the group, and kind of taking charge. The other way of leadership is more of like a guiding and a shaping leadership. That really fits in a lot with myself, for myself, especially as a human design projector. With that aura type, it's really a lot about guiding and using energy wisely and being being able to kind of move and go with the flow and see what is the most efficient use of energy. So, in terms of like interpersonal relationships, there's that kind of guiding. Um, you could either argue with somebody, or you could kind of uh, take the time to understand where they're coming from and then kind of redirect their thoughts and kind of align. It's not to say that one person's perspective is always more right than another, but there might be a specific way that you as an individual may want to lead or guide a project or move something, and other people may have different ideas. So this is where the idea of getting buy-in and getting agreements and things like that. You can understand where people come in, understand what is important for them, and then move them along in their journey. A lot of things that, I guess on different levels, we'll see different things that are important to people on kind of like a micro scale of like a specific task or a specific outcome. There might be a very fixed focus. But when you start to pull out and pull back a little bit, you might find that there are values that underline the reason that we think about things or the reason that we want certain things to happen, so that um, we can kind of align on those broader values and then make sure that we're moving towards the right outcome. And that's kind of one way of like aligning things, rather than that force of like, hey, I said so because I have more seniority than you, I have more rank than you, I have a better title than you, so I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. And because I'm the guy who's like sitting on the throne, I'm the one who can tell you exactly what to do. It's not really a nice posture for anybody to be in. For one thing, um, the people that are being led by somebody like that might not be having a good time. It's like, do you like being told what to do? Um, I don't. I don't. So I think there's a comfort in being told what to do and having like, okay, like this is the way that you might want to do things, or like having some guidance there. But to be absolutely told without a shadow of a doubt, like you have to do this thing and no questions asked, is kind of a very difficult place to exist. So I think that that idea of learning to harmonize, right, or learning to go with the flow is really important. It's kind of will give you that ability, that choice, right, of where things are going. And in some ways, sometimes like going with the flow almost feels like I'm like kind of hands off the wheel, take me wherever the river takes me. And that kind of idea kind of makes sense, right? Like it's valid to think that way. But the reason that we think that way is because we have the illusion of separation. It's like uh, if I am being dragged through a river, then it's like, oh, I have no control over what's happening. I'm just being tossed around, right? But that's only under the assumption that the river and I are separate. If you were a drop of water moving in that river, then you would not be saying that, oh, I'm being like dragged around. It's just simply what's happening. So as you flow through the river of life and being moved through different scenarios and experiences and situations, maybe that is simply the experience of life, of living. So consider that when the next time that you have like, oh, why am I being forced to do this thing, and like I have to do this, I have no choice. um, maybe you have no choice. Maybe the easier choice is not one that you want to take, right? When you're taking an easier choice, when things are comfortable and simple, usually that's like the area of like fixed knowing, fixed experience, where you are not necessarily growing or challenging yourself or progressing in any kind of real way. When things are uncomfortable, that's when you know that there's some growth. There's something to be had because you're moving through something new. There's some development or some learning that will happen as you go through the whole process. And that's kind of like where the importance of growth mindset comes in. It's to be open to different possibilities, to be open to the different ways that things will move you around. And you can go through this in two ways, right? Like if you approach change with a fixed mindset, that's when things get really difficult, because what you're really saying on some level in your mind is that I don't want things to change, so I'm going to fight against the change. And that's where the struggle comes in, right? So you could very well be having a hard time staying stuck. It's a lot of work. It can be a lot of work. And ultimately, like that's not going to be good for anybody. The other option is to go with the flow and learn something new, and then you'll struggle in a different way. You'll struggle in a way that kind of like opens and expands your experience and it expands your existence. And if you can understand that your perspective is what will change the experience of that choice or of that the change the experience of the outcome. So if you're thinking of like floating down, let's stick with the river metaphors. If you're going whitewater rafting, right? You're going through and you're paddling and it's kind of like very turbulent. You could go through it in two ways. One, you could be like, oh, this is terrifying. Like, why am I doing this? Why did I decide to do this thing? And I'm fearing for my life. And that's a very valid reaction. You can absolutely have that. And maybe like whitewater rafting isn't your thing. The other way of going through that is understanding that, hey, like this is something that's fun. It's a little bit risky. It's a little bit dangerous, but I can enjoy it because like, that kind of like thrill seeking adrenaline kind of rush that comes with that experience. And it could be enjoyable as well. So it's like two people could go through the same exact experience and have two separate outcomes. And the difference there becomes how your mindset and how you kind of approach it. And sure, like it's not to say like put your life in danger and all of these things because like yeah, there may be things that are unsafe about certain situations. So it's not like to encourage you to go do dangerous things, but like whitewater rafting, if you're going down like with experienced people, you have all the safety gear and all of these things, then it's probably um, safe to pursue. So it's not to say put yourself in mortal danger, but just kind of how you approach a certain situation, right? Like even driving, for example, like driving can be terrifying for some people, and others it's like you can drive in your sleep. Not that I'm saying to sleep while you're driving. Please do not do that as well. So like there's sometimes I'll think about the idea of determinism and free will. I remember taking a university philosophy course, and I really enjoyed it because it's that space where you kind of get to think and roll around ideas and listen to like different people and their thoughts. And there was, I think it was on maybe consciousness, which was interesting. That was like many years ago, and like my views on this has changed and kind of grown over time. But the kind of one of the central debates in that argument is the world determined or is there free will? Which is like, is everything fated to happen, or can you decide and have choice? And I think that we can hold both. There's a line in the Kabbalion that says, um, all truths are half lies, all paradoxes can be reconciled. Something to that effect. And when I was thinking about that, I spent a lot of time trying to think about how that would make sense. And especially for this, it's kind of like we live in a world of dualities where there's variation because there's different kind of ends of the spectrum where we can experience things. So the determinism and free will are kind of like on two separate ends of the spectrum. And how do you reconcile that they both can exist? Well, there are there are things that happen, and once something happens, it's determined. It won't change, right? So if I record this video and upload on YouTube, it will have been uploaded on YouTube, right? The free will part of it, from my perspective, is that I can choose how I feel about that and how I experience that uploading. I could upload it in terror of like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? And um, or like I could upload it in like anxiety of like, oh my God, is anybody even gonna watch this video? And like maybe I'm such a loser, like I'm putting this out there and nobody's even watching it. Like I could do all of those things. Or I can just choose to like upload it and then not care and leave it there because I'm enjoying the process of doing this. Um, which kind of comes back to like processes and states, right? Like, is this thing that's happening right now a state? Like, am I a completed YouTube video? Or right now in this moment that I'm recording it, like not the moment that you're watching it, but the moment that I am recording this right now, I am in process. I am not in state. I'm in a process of like creating this video. And I can do it in multiple different ways. Like I can experience this in multiple different ways, which kind of comes down to like, I love the idea of like duality because it really, to me, like simplifies how to look and consider the world. Where if you can put things that you're deciding on a spectrum of duality, like choice A or B, 0 or 1, kind of like how computers work, right? Like binary code, 0 and 1s, like all of computing is binary, basically, right? Like I think quantum computing is a little bit different than that. I don't fully understand that. I'm not a quantum computer expert. And at the same time, current computers work like everything that we do is based on like a series of zeros and ones. So then if you take a step back and kind of like separate out all of the different decisions that you're making, all of the different kind of like thoughts that you're going through, or like if you're trying to understand, like have a conversation with someone and try to figure out how like somebody could have a different point of view, it's all zeros and ones. It's all duality. So then understanding that there is that spectrum will give you that flexibility to say, is it this or that? And it can be both of those things depending on context. Context is the other big piece of the puzzle as well, because that's what gives meaning to anything, right? Like I just keep like thinking of like uploading YouTube videos because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like staring right at myself as this is all happening. Um, so that's what I was thinking today. Harmony. I love the idea of harmony. I think that with these videos, it would be nice. Like I do enjoy the teaching piece. So I think moving forward, what I'm going to do is pick topics that are on my mind that I can teach and share and just talk about. They might be the same things. I might have a theme for weeks. I don't know. Or I might have like different topics every day. It's going to be a little bit of a surprise because life is uncertain sometimes. And that's okay. Um, and then finally, like I'll end off these things with my own reflection because that's kind of the piece for me. So, like my reflection today is I'm just like starting to think about like trying to do all of these like different things, and there's a little bit of like an element of consistency when making these videos that sometimes is a little bit of a drag. Like I can do it, I don't mind doing it, and sometimes it's just like I have to like actually like make a description and upload the videos and like make a little thumbnail that looks kind of decent. And like I guess I don't really have to, but that's something that I'm choosing to do, just because I like the look of it, right? So I think like that's a little bit of a drag right now, and at the same time, it's also good. I gave myself a good buffer. Like it's July 16. I think the one that uploaded was about the one that was scheduled to release today was log number 15, and this one that's recording right now is maybe log number 30 something. So I gave myself almost a 2 week buffer, which was really good. That gave me the space to continue to record these daily, and at the same time not have to like upload and get transcripts and do all of that like back end stuff. So thumbs up for me. Good job of like picking a nice timeline. Originally, I was going to do just 1 week and then start uploading them. But then I don't know, like there's like sometimes like just things come together. I scheduled the first one or released it into the wild on July 1st. And it's been easy to track kind of like where I am. Oh, so today is July 16th. The 16th log would have um, hit the airwaves, hit the internets today. Um, And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, how am I going to keep track of that? Like, I'm going to start forgetting by the time it turns to August, but that's okay. Just like I just say the dates now instead of the specific number, it's just going to go. So we're going to go with it. So there's a little bit of that. Something good that happened. Maybe that's good. Like to frame kind of like, what are some challenges? What are some like good things that are going on? So one of the good things is that I'm thinking of doing now is offering the program or gauging interest in who might want to experience the program on a kind of like a pilot basis or a testing basis. And that's something that I'm reaching out and just sending like individual invites to people that I know or people that I have met that might find this interesting. I think that would be really nice for me. That would give me the feedback that I would like to have as I'm creating this program. So that's a thumbs up. I'm enjoying. I'm happy. Sorry, the reason that I'm happy about that is I said, "Hey, do you want to like try out this program that I'm putting together?" And the person responded and said, "Yeah, that would be great. I'm excited to go through the program." So that's nice as a piece of validation, right? As a piece of recognition for me. So that was good. And the world keeps turning. So you can either choose to fight against the flow of the universe or harmonize with it and move freely. Until tomorrow, we'll talk again soon. I'll see you.